In this video, I'm going to be going over how to beat the Poseidon bot on chess.com, and this bot is rated 875. So I'm just going to play one game with the white pieces and sort of explain my thought process on how I would manage to win this game. So I'm going to start off with d4. I'm going to play bishop to f4. This is known as the London system, and we get the move a5. Now, since this bot is rated 875, I'm not really expecting like any sort of like real strategy that goes behind the bot's moves. I'm expecting him to just sort of blunder like some pieces at some point, so I'm not really gonna play like that seriously, but I'll sort of be trying to explain my thought process anyway. So this move e5 is just a blunder because after takes, I can just take with the knight, and I'm just gonna be up a pawn. So they don't take. Now I'm just gonna take and see what happens. Okay, we get this takes, and after takes, I can just take this pawn with my queen, and that is just winning me a pawn. Now I do have to be careful because whenever you like take something like this, and you have to realize like if they move this bishop anyway, right, our queens are going to see each other. So there's a lot of cases where you take this, right, and then they move their bishop somewhere and then give you a check. Right now they can't do that, right, because like our king is on a dark square and this bishop is on a light square. But in some cases you have to realize that when you do this, right, they could potentially move their bishop away and then give you a check, and then after you move your king they're going to collect your queen. So that's just something to keep in mind. This tactic does occur around like 1000 elo, so just do keep that in mind. Now I'm just going to keep adding pressure to this bishop. And so what happens? Okay, so we get castle. So now I can just take this bishop, I think, and then try to trade everything off. Okay, knight takes, that's logical. Okay, at this point I can just keep adding pressure to his pieces, why not? So I'm going to bring my bishop here. Ooh, that's actually a good move. I actually didn't see that, but I can just bring my knight here. So the idea is the idea is giving me a check and then picking up my bishop. But I can just play knight c3, and I think that just stops everything. Okay, so I think I can just take this knight now because nothing is guarding it. Let's see, knight. So take the knight, and then maybe rook d8. So I can't move my bishop. But then I can just take this knight. So I don't think this is a bad move. Okay, so my opponent goes a3. Trying to get me to take and then take my knight. Okay, I see. Now I could just take this rook, and then after this, let's see, so take the rook and then take this pawn, and then I move my rook and I lose my knight. So I don't really want that. I could just take this pawn, and then it's probably gonna go like rook d8 or something, but then I can just take the knight. So I think I can just take this pawn. And then, okay, we get the trade of queens. And now I'm just gonna, okay, so my opponent doesn't move the rook. So now I can just take, and then probably just castle, and then just bring my rooks to the open file. And yeah, we're gonna try to win the game like that. So in an endgame, always remember, your rooks love to be on open files, right? So instead of playing a rook to e1 or a1, where it's just blocked off, right? You always wanna bring a rook to the open files, where it can see like long term. Long distances, I mean. Okay, so now I can just bring my knight here, attack the rook, and probably just play something like this, attack the rook again, and then let's see. Now, a useful move in endgames is just to play h3 because you'll never have to worry about any like back ranks, right? So, okay, that's just a free pawn. I can take with this rook. I think I'll take with this rook, because now I'm maybe trying to like threaten some like back rank stuff. Okay, let's see. So if I move my rook here, it's just gonna take with the knight. So maybe if I attack the knight, force him to move. Let's see. If I attack the knight like this, they could play rook here. Sorry, they can't play rook there because I'll take, but they can play rook here to defend it. So if I play rook here instead, c5. Now they can't play rook to c4, and they can't play rook here as well. So yeah, now we can just effectively move this knight out of this square, and now we can just start giving checks like this. Let's see, the king goes here, Now my rook is hanging, right? Don't remember not to hang a rook. So now I just do this, right? So okay, so we can see like this king and rook are on the same file. So how can we exploit that? Well, rook e8 forces the king to move, and then we can just take the rook. So that's a common tactic. Okay, that's actually a pretty good move. Because if I take the rook, they'll take my rook. But if I give this check first, which is protected by this knight, so rook to d5 check, he's gonna take my knight and then I'll take the rook. So that's just sort of a nice in-between move. Take the knight and then I can just take this rook, and then we have two rooks for a knight, which is just winning. Okay, so at this point we can just bring our rook here, threaten this. Okay, let's pin the knight and then probably just play rook e8, and then yeah, this is just game over. This knight's gone. And now we can just sort of ladder mate the bot, and then we can just win the game. So the way you do the ladder mate is pretty simple. You just have to bring your rooks away first if they try to like attack it, and then you're just gonna try to bring your rooks like this, right? Force the king to be cut off. So now the king can't ever escape from the 7th rank, and then we can just bring our rook like this, and then we can just ladder mate like that. So hopefully this game gave you a pretty good idea of how to deal with 875 Elo bots. Now the main lessons in this game is you want to just sort of have a nice opening that you can rely on. In this case, I just rely on the London system, right? d4, bishop f4, e3, and then when your opponent makes a blunder like this, right, you can just take. Now the reason why this is a blunder is because after takes, I can't actually move the pieces yet, but after takes, so I took this, right? I was expecting the pawn to take, but after takes, I'll take with the knight, and then I'm just up a pawn, and I'm also threatening to take this. So that's just why that was a blunder. And yeah, here as well, I can just take that. Now, the tactic I mentioned you have to be careful of is whenever they have like a bishop in between your queens, or even if this was a rook, it doesn't really matter, right? They can always just move this bishop anywhere, like, and then give you a check, and then after you move your king, they'll just pick up your queen. So that's just a tactic you have to be aware of, especially if your queen is undefended, right? In this case, it's undefended. But if it was defended, it would be a little bit less scary. Let's just say my knight here was like somewhere like here, for example. Then that would actually protect the queen. So then if they give me a check, and after I move the king, it doesn't really matter if they take my queen because I'll just take back with the knight. So yeah, that's just a little tactic you should be aware of, especially around intermediate level or even beginner level. That's a pretty common tactic. So yeah, hopefully this video was educational. If you guys liked it, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.